People in the West have very little exposure to Asia and what life is like on this continent. We're completely unaware of what's happening in the Democratic Republic of Korea, also known as North Korea. The East Asian country is unlike any other place in the world. North Korea has always prided itself in isolating its people from the rest, especially since the Korean War's armistice in 1953. Ruled by megalomaniacs and paranoid leaders, the country is so closed off that no one knows about what goes on in there. Besides the accounts of spies and harrowing tales from defectors, all we know about North Korea is what their leadership allows. Here are the 15 weirdest things that only exist in North Korea. Number 1. Caste system based on loyalty. The system of ascribed status used in North Korea is called songbun or Chosun songbun. It is based on the political, social, and economic background of the person's direct ancestors as well as the behavior of their relatives. Songbun is used to classify North Korean citizens into 3 main castes: core, wavering, and hostile. There are also around 50 subclassifications. This classification determines whether a person can be trusted with responsibility, and the ones who qualify are given opportunities within North Korea. Songbun influences access to educational and employment opportunities in the country. It specifically determines whether a person is eligible to join North Korea's ruling party, the Workers' Party of Korea. The May 1956 resolution and the Korean Workers' Party's Intensive Guidance Project were what provided the basis for Songbun's socio-political classification by dividing the entire population into 3 distinct loyalty groups based on family background, namely friendly, neutral, and enemy forces. The people with a landlord, lawyer, or Christian minister in their background are given the lowest status. The highest status is given to those who descended from the participants of the resistance against Japanese occupation during and before the Second World War. The factory workers, laborers, or peasants were also given a high status. Helen Louise Hunter, a CIA analyst, believes the communists in North Korea succeeded in turning the pre-revolutionary social structure upside down, and Songbun reflects that. The preferred class most likely consists of 30% of the population, the ordinary people constitute the middle 40%, and the undesirables make up the bottom 30%. Starting at age 17, North Korean security officials and party cadres maintain files on everyone, and these are updated every 2 years. 2. Traffic conductors or models. North Korea is mostly known for its vicious regime and the brutalities faced by its citizens. But among these horrible things, there are a few that just don't make sense. One such thing is the iconic traffic girls of DPRK. These female traffic controllers are so famous that they have fan pages on social media. Back in the day, when traffic lights were uncommon, North Korea and many other countries used humans to direct traffic, particularly in the cities. In the capital of North Korea, Pyongyang, single, attractive, young, and slim women were selected for this purpose. Unfortunately, even in this time and age, North Korea cannot afford traffic lights on every corner due to the country's struggling economy, and because the leadership is more inclined towards spending money on war instead of prosperity and development. This is why these beautiful female traffic controllers still manage the traffic in most parts of the city. Almost 50 ladies are working in the capital, Pyongyang, and they have become national symbols for the country, according to reports. This is an extremely coveted job. And according to Koryo Tours, these traffic officers reportedly receive better pay and more food than average North Koreans. They also get free housing and health care from the state. The young and attractive traffic controllers wear crisp military-style uniforms and remain at their posts in all kinds of weather. Kim Jong-il was known for taking a special interest in these girls. He even bought them all new equipment like fancy umbrella-covered platforms to stand on. These women are apparently highly desired by the men in the country. Because of their good looks and higher social status, competition for gaining their affection is quite fierce. Back in 2013, one of these traffic girls received North Korea's highest military honor. The video of her receiving the award was released, but the reason why she was given this honor wasn't clear. Some sources suggest that she accidentally prevented an assassination attempt while directing traffic. 3. 3 generations of punishment policy. In North Korea, if you commit a crime, no matter who you are, the punishment will be severe. Here, the accused isn't the only one who suffers and receives a penalty. Instead, North Korea has the kin punishment policy. According to this, if you break the law, your parents, grandparents, and your children will also be pushed along with you. In fact, if for some reason the perpetrator cannot be found, their family members will also be punished in their place. Numerous testimonies from North Korean defectors have confirmed this practice in the country. Under this rule, 3 generations of a political offender's family can be summarily imprisoned or executed. This is based on the internal Workers' Party protocols and lies outside of the formal legal system. The relatives of a criminal are not informed why they fell under suspicion, and the punishment actually extends to the children born in prison, too. This association system was introduced with the North Korean state's founding in 1948, although it did previously exist under the Joseon Kingdom. The prison camps in North Korea are intentionally inhumane to scare people so much they won't even think about doing something wrong. Anyone suspected of a political crime is sent to the absolute worst kind of labor camp, called Kwan Lee So. According to reports, these places are harsh beyond endurance. The inmates there are routinely starved, tortured, and assaulted, and the criminals' family members are subjected to the same despite the fact that they didn't break any law. You could be the most loyal citizen of North Korea, but if your grandchild ended up disrespecting the picture of Kim Jong-un, you will end up spending the rest of your life in a labor camp. 4. A North Korean computing system and internet. The Democratic Republic of Korea strictly controls and monitors its citizens' access to information. Firstly, in order to even own a computer, people need to get special permission from the government. Each computer is registered with the police like it is a dangerous weapon. The government hasn't entirely banned the internet for some reason. However, most of the North Korean population cannot even dream of owning a computer, let alone having internet access. Only a small portion of the population uses computer labs in offices, universities, and cyber cafes of the major cities. The internet in Korea is different from the rest of the world. For starters, it's an intranet in reality. Kwangmyong or Bright Star runs off pirated Japanese versions of Microsoft software and looks a lot like the internet did back in 1994. The internet is primarily used for government purposes and by foreigners. The country does have some broadband infrastructure, including fiber optic links between major institutions. Online services for most individuals and institutions are provided using the free domestic-only network. It does provide access to the global internet, but to a limited group of people. According to BBC reports, since 2016, users can only access less than 30 websites. The list was accidentally discovered by an American engineer. It showed the world what exactly North Korea allowed its internet users to see. Most of it was propaganda, government business, tourism information, some recipes, and North Korean films. All these websites are quite basic and take a long time to load. Some access to the global internet is allowed in academic institutions like the Pyongyang University of Science and Technology. However, access through this channel is monitored. In April 2016, North Korea blocked Facebook, YouTube, Twitter, and South Korean content. It was reported in January 2021 that North Korea was gearing up to upgrade its network from the current 3G to 4G network. 5. Leisure Squad. Believe it or not, the government of North Korea has its very own pleasure brigade called Kipumjo, or Gipyumujo. It is a collection of groups of approximately 2,000 women and girls, reportedly maintained by the leader of North Korea. Their sole purpose is to provide entertainment, including that of sexual nature, for the high-ranking Workers' Party of Korea officials, their families, and some distinguished guests. Outside North Korea, people know very little about the Kipumjo. Most reports about this pleasure squad of young women are based on the accounts provided by people who defected from the country. One particular person is Mi Hyang, who told the magazine Marie Claire that she had been a Kipumjo member. Kenji Fujimoto, who was a chef to Kim Jong-il, also provided some information. According to a British journalist named Jasper Becker, a former bodyguard revealed that each pleasure group was made of 3 teams: the Manjokjo, which is a satisfaction team, Hangbokjo, which is a happiness team, and the Gamujo, which is a dancing and singing team. In a book based on interviews with North Korean defectors, it was revealed that girls from across the country were recruited to be Kipumjo members according to the government's criteria. Suki Kim, an American journalist who lived undercover in North Korea, said that one of the criteria was that they had to be virgins. Schools apparently recommend suitable teenage girls to recruiters. The parents of the girl receive enhanced status and money. The members of Kipumjo have to go through rigorous training. Many women reportedly retired from Kipumjo at the age of 22 and married members of the country's elite. In 2015, Kim Jong-un was reportedly seeking new members for his own Kipumjo after his father's group of women had been disbanded. This recruitment and training of the members in 2015 was done by the 5th Department of Staff of the Organic Direction of the party. 6. Nasty fertilizer. North Korea has been suffering from an acute shortage of fertilizer. This was a problem in the past, too. But recently, since the onset of the pandemic, the country was forced to halt sourcing agricultural manure from China. In 2022, North Korea declared securing manure the first struggle of the year. Another reason behind the shortage is that the Kims tend to spend money on the military and nuclear bombs instead of agriculture. The country also lacks chemical fertilizer. They don't possess the ability to manufacture their own, and sanctions prevent them from getting any from the outside world. Because of this, the local farmers were in desperate need of help with their crops. This manure shortage led to increasing demand for night soil. To put it in easier words, they started using human feces in their fields. Back in 2010, shops selling human excrement began popping up. The farmers had initially resorted to using the waste of their own families, but over time, human feces became a precious commodity, so it made more sense to sell it openly. By 2014, Kim Jong-un had officially ordered his people to use human and livestock manure on crops. Since the farmers had no other choice, human excrement became known as the best fertilizer. Vegetables grown in it are considered delicious. If a farmer's family fails to produce adequate amounts of waste and they can't afford to buy any, then they might resort to stealing from other homes. It's important to note that human excrement is not sanitary, and many defectors from North Korea have been found to have intestinal worms. Since the 2022 crisis, state-run media has been encouraging people to use this self-made manure. However, this didn't help much, and in June 2022, Kim Jong-un declared a tense food crisis in the country. 7. State-selected haircuts and fashion. Putting people in uniform is a very effective way to keep them in line, according to the North Korean government. When every person looks the same, it's just harder to rebel. The clothing, haircut, and hygiene of people are major components of self-expression. This is why North Korea controls everything about the appearance of its citizens. A women's magazine published by the government provided guidelines on how women should dress. Their clothing needs to be loose-fitting and modest. All kinds of foreign trends are strictly forbidden. The state wants women's looks to fit the socialist way of living. Those who express individuality in their attire are subjected to public shaming. Recently, a news report claimed that people were allowed to choose from a very small number of haircuts in North Korea. However, this report was never confirmed. The magazine, on the other hand, did emphasize that women could not grow their hair long. But because people around the world love to dress how they want, there has been a rebellion in the country. According to a New York Times report, women in Pyongyang often wear stiletto heels, skirts above their knees, and colorful clothing. North Korea has a thriving black market of clothes and makeup brought from South Korea. In order to suppress these shows of expression, North Korea has an actual fashion police. It is a women's union carrying whistles, and their job is to enforce the rules for ladies. 8. K-pop can get you killed. North Korea has openly waged a cultural war and has warned its citizens to stay away from all things South Korean, including fashion, hairstyles, music, and even slang from the country. In the past 10 years, South Korea has emerged as a formidable cultural force, and their products such as makeup, skincare, K-pop, K-drama, and more have won the hearts of fans around the world. However, North Korea is hell-bent on stopping South Korean influence from permeating its borders. In the past, North Korea has publicly executed at least 7 people for watching or distributing K-pop videos from South Korea. The North Korean ruler, Kim Jong-un has called K-pop vicious cancer. He does not try to hide his distaste for the music culture of his neighboring and longtime enemy state. Since taking power, Kim Jong-un has attacked all forms of South Korean entertainment. According to him, it corrupts the minds of North Korean people. Under a law adopted in 2020, those who distribute South Korean entertainment can face the death penalty. It was also Kim's idea to publicly execute the people found guilty of watching or circulating the banned content. Haeseon, South Korea is where thousands of North Korean defectors have lived. Therefore, Kim is focused on ending the K-pop infiltration from this city. Haeseon is considered the main gateway for outside information, including South Korean entertainment stored on computer memory sticks. 9. Basketball rules. It's no secret that Kim Jong-un, the despot of North Korea, is a basketball fanatic. He's always been a huge fan of the Chicago Bulls, and also particularly admires Michael Jordan and Dennis Rodman. He even invited Rodman to Pyongyang in 2013 to arrange a basketball match. Within the Hermit Kingdom, basketball is played quite enthusiastically since the ruler loves it. However, North Korean basketball isn't like normal basketball. It had some pretty odd scoring rules. Chinese media reported that the change in rules was initiated by Kim Jong-un's father and former North Korean Supreme Leader Kim Jong-il. The younger Kim inherited the title after his father's death in 2011. According to reports, Kim Jong-un has added a few of his amendments to the regulations. Internationally, North Korean teams play by the rules followed by the rest of the world, but for the local tournaments, they have their own set of rules. In North Korean basketball games, slam dunks are worth 3 points, whereas a three-pointer is worth 4 if the ball doesn't touch the rim. There's some additional excitement in the final few seconds, too. Baskets in the last 3 seconds of the game score 8 whole points. If a player misses a free throw, they actually lose a point. These rules can completely change a team's strategy depending on the gap between scores. 10. North Korean calendar. It's no secret that the Kim family is revered, but the founder of North Korea, Kim Il-sung, holds a special place in the nation. Although he's long dead, he still enjoys an almost godlike status. He was officially declared the eternal president of the country, and this title is held by him even today. With everything in North Korea being different from the rest of the world, their calendar is no exception to that. North Koreans have their unique calendar based completely around the birth date of Kim Il-sung. He was born on April 15, 1912, and the calendar devised from his birth date is called the Juche calendar. A woman who grew up in North Korea told a news outlet that the Juche calendar is used alongside the Western calendar in the country. So people would say, "We are now in Juche 108, the year 2019. The woman also revealed that she actually found using the Juche calendar more elegant. She and her friends were constantly quizzed on it when they were in school. After she defected to South Korea, it took her a long time to stop mentioning Juche along with the Western year. According to Young Pioneer Tours reports, the word Juche means self-reliance, and it came into being in 1997 on the 3rd anniversary of the eternal President Kim Il-sung's death. All the North Korean publications include both years, and every citizen is expected to use them. The government has made it relatively easier to remember. 11. International calls are a crime. North Korea has been in the spotlight for its numerous human rights violations. The country has also been in the news for the approach of the North Korean government toward international relations under Kim Jong-un's rule. Several necessities are being enjoyed by people around the world, but the North Korean citizens are not entitled to them. One of these necessities is public access to communication. For starters, all sorts of communications are strictly monitored by the government, and making international phone calls is illegal in North Korea. The government holds the use of communication technology with a very tight grip. Any interaction with countries that are referred to as enemies is forbidden according to a report by Amnesty International. North Korea does have a popular mobile service that is used by more than 3 million people, but making international phone calls is not permitted on this network. Only a select few citizens and foreigners are allowed access to the internet. Ordinary North Koreans are prohibited from using their mobile phones to call family members who have defected. They can be sent to detention camps or political prisons for breaking this law. Most citizens who fled the country live in a constant state of fear due to not knowing the situation of their families back home. The inability to contact loved ones leaves both parties in the dark about each other's well-being. For years now, North Korean citizens have been relying on smuggled phones and SIM cards from China to connect with the rest of the world. 12. Jeans are banned. It may sound absurd, but it's the truth. Wearing jeans, especially blue and skinny jeans, is banned in the Democratic Republic of Korea. No one is allowed to wear these. Kim Jong-un considers blue jeans a symbol of American influence and capitalism, according to reports, and that's why he has made it illegal for citizens to wear them. The Korean government has blatantly called this piece of clothing a representative of American imperialism. But jeans aren't the only item they've targeted. In fact, all sorts of Western clothing items like t-shirts, skirts, and suits are also banned. Citizens are required to wear traditional Korean clothing such as hanboks. North Korean leadership has expressed distaste for many Western fashion trends, including haircuts such as mullets, ripped denim clothing, and spiky and dyed hair. Branded t-shirts and some piercings are also not allowed. Since 2022, North Korea has ramped up its crackdown on capitalist fashion. The Youth League patrols crack down on people who wear things like long hair down to their waists, those who dye their hair brown, people who wear clothes with large foreign letters, and women who wear tight pants. If caught, the person must wait on the roadside until the patrols finish combing the area. Afterwards, the authorities will take them to the Youth League office where they must confess their crimes in written form. Offenders are released when someone brings them acceptable clothes to wear. 13. Birthing laws. Just like all other things, the birthing laws and rights in North Korea are quite different from the rest of the world. Under local law, unmarried mothers are forbidden from registering the birth of their child. This means the child is not entitled to legal protections in the hermit country. This policy came out in the open when, in 2020, mothers in a South Pyongyang province flocked to the hospitals with their infants for vaccines. The children of unwed mothers were turned away. These children born out of wedlock are denied all basic necessities, including food and health care. Mothers in North Korea also have to follow a strict and peculiar set of rules while giving birth. They are not allowed to give birth if anyone is around. Therefore, they have no choice but to go into labor alone. The mothers are not even allowed to meet their family or even their husbands for a week after birth. In case triplets are born, they are given to the state, as there have been rising concerns regarding the low birth rate in North Korea. They are, however, returned to their parents upon reaching 4 years of age. The decreasing fertility rate in North Korea has alarmed the government, which is now insisting that women should have more children for the sake of the motherland's future. 14. Daily power cuts. For many years now, North Korea has been suffering from perennial energy shortages, and satellite photos of the country at night show how severe the situation is. The country has undoubtedly made rapid progress in its weapons program under Kim Jong-un's leadership, but even 70 years after its birth, the nation suffers from a serious power shortage. In the satellite photos, North Korea appears as a dark quadrilateral between China and South Korea. Solar panels are ubiquitous across the city's balconies. In order to read their books at night, the students have to gather under streetlights. Most parts of the country suffer power outages at night. This wasn't always the case. During the Japanese colonial rule, North Korea was developed as the industrial hub. They had the best generation capacities in East Asia. Some believe it was even better than Japan. But after the collapse of the Soviet Union, North Korea lost its access to heavily subsidized spare parts and technical expertise. According to World Bank statistics, only 1 in 3 North Koreans has access to electricity. Authorities ration the power according to priority. And in most cases, the industrial sector is prioritized over the residential sector. 15. Ban on foreign media. North Korea's crackdown against Western media is no secret nowadays. The authorities have actually threatened to punish parents if their children are caught watching Western-made films and television programs in North Korea. The new rules state that parents of children caught watching foreign films will be sent to labor camps for 6 months, whereas the children will be sentenced to 5 years of imprisonment. Not long ago, parents were able to get away with a serious warning if their kids were caught in possession of media from abroad. However, now the government has chosen to show no leniency. Exposure to Western culture has been deemed an unforgivable offense. The Hermit Nation is also pressuring parents to educate their children properly in socialist ideals. An anonymous source from North Korea, in an interview with Radio Free Asia, said that parents had been given a severe warning at the weekly Inminban, which is a compulsory neighborhood watch unit meeting. Anyone found performing like a South Korean is given a 6-month sentence. Their parents are also slapped with a 6-month term. If someone is caught smuggling Western media across the border, they can even receive the death penalty.